Kim Yong-nam, former chairman of the DPRK Standing Committee of the Supreme People's Assembly, is an old friend of the Chinese people. He led delegations to China more than once and made important contributions to the traditional friendship and cooperative ties between the two countries. China expresses deep condolences over his passing and extend heartfelt sympathies to his family. China is following the disaster in Afghanistan. We deeply mourn for the lives lost in the earthquake. Our thoughts are with the bereaved families and the injured. We believe that under the leadership of the Afghan government, the Afghan people will recover and rebuild from the disaster. China will provide help in light of Afghanistan's needs. As Nigeria's comprehensive strategic partner, China firmly supports the Nigerian government in leading its people on the development path suited to its national conditions. China firmly opposes any country using religion and human rights as an excuse to interfere in other countries' internal affairs, and threatening other countries with sanctions and force. China has a clear-cut stance on the U.S. cracking down on so-called drug cartels by force in the Caribbean Sea. China supports the effort of combating cross-border crimes through stronger international cooperation, and opposes using or threatening to use force in international relations. We stand against moves that undermine peace and stability in the Latin America and the Caribbean region, and oppose unilateral and excessive enforcement operations against other countries' vessels. We hope the U.S. will engage in normal law enforcement and judicial cooperation through bilateral and multilateral legal frameworks. The normal exchanges and cooperation between China and Venezuela is the cooperation between two sovereign states, which does not target any third party and is not subject to disruption or influence from any third party. The Chinese representative elaborated on China's position in the explanation of vote on the draft resolution. Let me stress that China supports the extension of the mandate of the United Nations mission for the referendum in Western Sahara. That said, it's a regret that the resolution failed to adequately take on board the concerns of all parties and reflect all initiatives in an objective way. China has to abstain from the vote. On the question of Western Sahara, China believes that a political solution is the fundamental way out. The United Nations is the main channel, the UN Security Council resolutions are the important foundation, and dialogue and negotiations is the right approach. China hopes that relevant parties will hold equal-footed consultations and reach a just and lasting political solution acceptable to all parties. The individual you mentioned is a link on the anti-China disinformation supply chain. She herself admitted at interviews that her so-called research is funded and supported by certain government authorities, even security agencies. What happened recently are just self-directed moves to spread disinformation for selfish gains under the pretext of academic freedom.